Well, guys, workers right now are putting up a fence around the entrance to the home. It's now standing back up, but you can see a dent and a bow in the pole where it likely took impact. Put flyers on cars outside the church, letting parishioners know about the deacon's alleged involvement. And ODOT says it's making arrangements for its workers who would normally come here in the morning to work elsewhere. Live in Bend, Rachel Azevedo, KOHD News.
Well, a hit and run takes the life of a beloved pet in Redmond.
The owner believes her dog Ireland saved her life. KOHD's Rachel Azevedo is live in the studio now with the story.
A woman is devastated by the loss of her dog at the hands of an alleged drunk driver. She's calling her dog Ireland a hero because she says it could have been her that was hit instead of Ireland.
She didn't cry, she didn't bark, nothing. And when I came over here to hold her, she just looked up at me like, "I did it, Mom. I did it." And her tail was wagging, and then she just died.
Stephanie Ague is devastated by the loss of her dog Ireland. The year-and-a-half-old St. Bernard and Border Collie mix was hit and killed Wednesday night on 8th and Spruce in Redmond by an alleged drunk driver. Officers believe Michael Flanagan hit several parked cars and damaged property along the street. Ague says she woke up after hearing a crash. She was returning from across the street after telling a neighbor her car was hit when she says Ireland saved her life by pushing her down and taking the hit.
She saw something I didn't see, and she flat out, Ireland would never hurt a soul, and she knocked me down. She knocked me down, and all I saw were tires, and she looked right back at me like, "I'm gonna do it, Mom. I'm good for you."
A path of destruction was left in the wake. Debris still lies in the street. This car's front bumper sits on top of the hood, the airbags deployed. A second car is also undrivable. The owner is told repairs could take a month.
I have a hard time understanding, and it's going to be a big inconvenience to us.
And neighbors say this is the stop sign at Redwood and 8th Street that was flattened during the incident. It's now standing back up, but you can see a dent and a bow in the pole where it likely took impact. Flanagan, a former Redmond High School teacher, was arrested in Terrebonne. Ague's boyfriend trailed him from their house while on the phone with authorities.
I mean, he was like fishtailing all over the place a few times. I mean, I remember we were doing like 120 miles an hour. And the guy was still just going and going and going.
Coincidentally, Ague brought home a puppy the day Ireland died, but they say their hero can't be replaced. Ague says she confronted Flanagan at his home Thursday night. After he was let out of jail, she wanted him to know the pain that was caused. Flanagan did not respond to KOHD's efforts to reach him for his side of the story. Live in the studio, Rachel Azevedo, KOHD News. Lauren, the last fire truck just left the scene. Because of the size of this ODOT building behind me, which is about 4,000 square feet, firefighters are shutting down their investigation tonight and continuing it until tomorrow. Damage estimates are about $500,000 for the structure and contents. Flames shoot out of a window at an Oregon Department of Transportation building on O.B. Riley Road at the north end of Bend Monday morning. 30 people would normally be working in this tech center, but no one was inside because of the holiday. It's one of 3 buildings ODOT leases in the area. One worker happened to be inside an adjacent building and was one of the first on scene.
What I did first was ensured that there was no one in my building, got out of the building, and then I unlocked the gates to this parking lot area, this facility.
Investigators believe the fire originated in the southeast corner of the building. They think the structure might be repairable, but because of smoke and water damage, the contents are a total loss.
It is pretty extensive and throughout the entire building. The wind is hampering in the operations a little bit just by pushing smoke around and making it a little more difficult to clear the building.
It housed the geology and research departments, and one of the main projects being worked on from here is the Highway 97 North Corridor project.
So they enter a lot of information into their computers, and those are backed up every night in a completely different building. So in terms of information that's been lost, it's probably at a minimum, which isn't to say there isn't some damage.
Because of the holiday, more people than normal, about 50, were home at the nearby Bethlehem Inn. Firefighters ordered the evacuation of all residents.
We gather everybody in the smoking area out here and in the dining room so we can assess who's here, and we go through all the rooms and the bathrooms and make sure everybody's out.
And exactly how much information, if any, was lost is still being evaluated. And ODOT says it's making arrangements for its workers who would normally come here in the morning to work elsewhere. Live in Bend, Rachel Azevedo, KOHD News. A Madras family is gathered in front of this house to mourn the loss of 23-year-old Emmanuel Torres and his 6-year-old daughter, Leticia. They were killed in a car accident that happened Saturday on snow-covered Highway 35 near Mount Hood Meadows. Emmanuel died at the scene. Leticia passed away Sunday night.
They're taking it really hard. They're just trying to be strong.
The accident happened when the 16-year-old driver of an SUV tried to pass another car and lost control. It went into the path of Emmanuel's Jeep. He tried to avoid the collision, taking the impact on the driver's side. Emmanuel's wife, Margene, and their son, 5-year-old Jose, survived the crash, along with 2 other family members. Emmanuel had recently bought his first home. He liked to work on cars and stereos and take his kids fishing.
He was a good person. He loved to go to church. He cared about his family so much. He changed his life so much in the past year.
Leticia was a first-grade student at Madras Elementary School. Her family says she loved going to school and reading. Here she is dressed in a costume for a dance recital. A crisis response team made up of counselors and administrators was at the elementary school Monday to address the tragedy.
To work with the staff and the students and the parents and the community that are involved, we try to make it as supportive as we can.
Around town, containers like this have been placed in grocery stores. They were made before Leticia had passed away. Meanwhile, friends and family will help support one another during this very difficult time.
They were a beautiful, beautiful family.